So one of the coolest things about being a convert and having children who go to Catholic school is that oftentimes they come home and inform me about things about the Catholic faith that I never knew about. So my son, who was in kindergarten a year ago, he walks into the room, comes home from school, and he said, "Dad, we need a prayer table." And I was like, "What's a prayer table?" And so he began to inform me that, prayer table is something like this, where you have certain devotional items, like maybe a picture of Christ or Mary, or certain statues and stuff like that, maybe a crucifix up there, that sort of it just becomes this space that is set aside specifically for prayer and for worship, maybe for yourself alone or for you and your family. The first prayer table we had was actually, I like to call it a prototype. Here's a picture of it. Notice the Lego cross. One of the saints is Kylo Ren from Star Wars. I love this picture. This is prayer table version 2.0. Still not as wonderful as we would like it to be. We'd like to get a cloth and make it look a little bit nicer, but it's great for now. So it may seem like a prayer table is sort of superfluous, like there's no point in having one. I mean, can't you just pray anywhere you are? And that's true, absolutely, you can. You don't need a prayer table in your house to be able to pray. But it's interesting that in our homes we have different spaces that are set aside for different things, and this is always helpful, right? We have the kitchen and the dining room that's set aside for eating. We have the bedroom set aside for sleeping. We have the living rooms maybe with a TV set aside for watching TV or spending time together. And a lot of times these different spaces sort of help us get into the zone with whatever it is we're wanting to do. If we really want to sleep, we have our bedroom where we always sleep, or we want to eat, we have our kitchen where we always eat. Having a space in the house set aside just for worship and just for prayer kind of makes it easier to worship and pray on your own. This has been just a magnet for me and for my kids to be able to sort of come together as a family and worship and pray together. When they were younger, we used to light like a bunch of candles because that was the only way I could get them to sit down and actually listen to me. So they didn't really care about God or anything like that, but they were pyromaniacs. So if I lit a fire, they'd come. And even to this day, we call it candle time. It makes it easier for the family to come together and spend time together in worship. Another thing about having a prayer table around, with devotional items like this, is that it kind of shakes you out of your routine a bit throughout the day. Like, let's say you're a busy mom, or you're someone, you're at home and you're trying to get laundry done, or you're trying to do different things. It's like, when you go in from one room to another, you look up quickly and you see these icons, or you look up quickly and you see that crucifix, and it reminds you of what life is all about. It reminds you of who you're supposed to be focused on throughout the day, and it sort of kind of shakes you out of your routine. I remember the first when we were first trying to considering Catholicism and sort of looking into it and learning about icons, from the Eastern Orthodoxy. We got this piece of paper printed with a printed out icon of Jesus, of the face of Jesus Christ, right? And so we stick it up on the wall, and I would be arguing with my wife over something, and it was just like the eyes of Jesus were staring at me, or I'd do something. And it's like, there he is, can't get away. And now is Jesus Christ looking upon me all the time? Is God everywhere? Yeah, of course he is. But the problem is that it's easy to forget that. And that's why having things like this is very helpful in a person's spiritual walk. One of the sweetest moments I had actually seeing was that my son, who he's 7 now, about a year or two ago, when we first kind of got the prayer table up, he was walking around a bit in the living room, and he just said, "I need to go pray." And he came over to this prayer table, and he got on his knees, and he just started praying. It was just so cool. Now, he hasn't done that since, but it just kind of goes to show it's something that sort of draws people in. It draws the family in. It just reminds the family of what's really important in life.